Hi everybody, it's Karen Thaxton from marketingwords.com. I have with me today Stephen Smotherman of fulltimefba.com, and this is a webinar that I am very excited about. There's a lot of phenomenal information that Stephen's going to bring to us today, but one particular thing I believe is going to save someone's Amazon business today, because one of the elements he's going to talk about is why, when you supposedly have good information from a list, or that somebody pointed you in the right direction, or from your own research, you purchase a product, you source it online or wherever, you send it into Amazon, and lo and behold, when you go back and check, there's 42 other sellers that are now selling it for the price that you paid, and there's no markup, and you're stuck with these products and you wonder what to do. And that's one of the things that drives people running from an Amazon business when it happens too often. And this is such an easy fix for that. So if you are, let me ask you right up front, in the questions box, if you will, put if you've ever heard of or used Keepa or the tool Camel, Camel, Camel. Use them or no. You can just type that in. Used it? No. Yes, both. Yes, yes. Used Camel? Not much. Yes, no. Heard of them? Never used. Used both? Never heard. Used? No. Yes, no. We're literally going 50-50. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so it's going to be really enlightening. Those of you that have used them, Stephen's going to show you how to go through the data that you get with an eagle eye and really do an expert level analysis of what the information is and how to use it so that you can source more profitably. If you're not familiar with Stephen, he does have a full-time FBA business, which is where his website comes from, fulltimefba.com. I encourage you to go over there and sign up for his blog while you're there, because he delivers awesome information. If you're interested in building product listings, you can go to marketingwords.com/blog, and that's mine. But I was introduced to Stephen maybe, I don't know, was it a year ago? Maybe not a year ago, 6-8 months ago or something like that. Done some guest posts on his blog. He's done some stuff on my blog, and have really come to appreciate the level of professionalism. The material that he provides is researched and practiced and tested before it is brought to market for anybody else to use, and you can trust it. That's one of the most important things that I find when it comes to products that I want to bring before my people, is that it can be trusted when it's used. So Stephen, I'm going to let you take over. I will be manning the question box, and we'll break in if questions apply to what you're talking about. If you don't hear your question brought up during the webinar, we will get to them in the end. So do keep that questions box open in case you have information. Somebody's saying, what's the blog again? Stephen's is fulltimefba.com, and mine is marketingwords.com/blog. So welcome, Stephen Smotherman, and take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Karen. I really appreciate hanging out with you and your tribe for the next hour or so. I've got so much to share with you and everybody else, and I'm really excited about it. And I appreciate all your kind words about me and the blog and the books and courses that I put together. I want to echo that with you as well. Both your blog and the books that I've read from you have really helped my Amazon business. I mean, just with coming up with good titles and keyword search and all the bullet points being top notch. It's amazing how getting those done right can really have a dramatic effect on your sales. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh duh, I just didn't realize just how important it was. So I just thank you for your help, because you've helped my Amazon business a lot.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And so today I want to talk about how to keep a camel. It's a new course that I just came out with, and we're going to I'm going to just try to jam as much information as I can to everybody to give you a good foundation of understanding what the product, or what Camel, and Keepa bring to your Amazon business. We'll talk about what they are, what they do, and how using them can help you find a better way to buy Amazon inventory. Inventory that sells faster than you're used to, inventory where the prices hold strong and don't tank, and eventually start to increase your disbursements from Amazon so fast you can just start continuing to reinvest that into inventory and get a really cool snowball going of profit. You just keep building it. It's amazing. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But first of all, I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Stephen Smotherman. That's me and my wife and my 4 boys. I first started selling online back in 1998 with eBay. I started playing around with eBay when it first came out and got addicted to buying stuff on eBay, and then ran out of money and realized I needed to get addicted to selling. And then I realized I was actually selling some of the items I purchased on eBay for more than I bought them for. And I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool, this whole reselling thing. I mean, I liked reselling when I was a kid. I'd buy a box of baseball cards from the card shop and take them to my school and sell the individual packets and to my friends and double my money and use that to go buy more baseball cards. It was just something I've always loved to do. But I started selling online in 1998, and it was just a nice little hobby. But then around 2011, I found myself needing to turn my hobby into a full-time income. So I started looking online, how can I turn eBay into a full-time job? And that's when I discovered Amazon, most specifically Fulfillment by Amazon, and it just completely revolutionized my online selling. The hobby that I had selling on eBay transitioned into being able to make a full-time income selling on Amazon after only 6 months. I started in late 2011, and 6 months later I was able to support my family, and it was awesome. And I've been able to do really well. In fact, in 2012, I was awarded as a holiday seller. Now, this is not something Amazon does anymore. In fact, 2012, I believe, was the last year they did this, but this was awarded to sellers who were in the top 25% of sales, but also remained A+ customer satisfaction rating. So I had a bunch of sales, and I treated their customers greatly, and they awarded me with this award, and I took a lot of pride in that. And then around 2013, I just found myself spending a bunch of time on Facebook answering people's questions about Amazon FBA, and my wife encouraged me to start up a blog. So in 2013, I started fulltimefba.com, where my goal is to help people turn part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA, because that's what I've been able to do. I don't work 40 hours a week on my Amazon business. I spend sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes 20 hours a week on my Amazon business, and I'm still able to make a full-time income. And so with the other hours of my week, I love to blog, write ebooks over at fulltimefba.com, and the course How to Keep a Camel is my first video course that I have come out with. It's an ebook/video course. We'll talk more about that in just a minute.
And
Yeah,
Stephen, I have put a link in the chat box to your site, and I just wanted to mention to people that full-time in your URL does not have a hyphen, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
so yep.
Yeah,
but if you check the chat box, there's a clickable link in there that you can click.
Yes, the logo has a hyphen, but the website is just Full-Time FBA, all one word. And maybe I should go purchase Full-Time FBA with the hyphen that I can just forward to the other one, just in case. But I've always enjoyed helping people make smarter sourcing decisions. I've offered coaching before, and it seemed like so many times when I was trying to coach people of how to grow an Amazon business, I realized that most people were only thinking about 2 things when they were trying to source for profitable inventory. And this might sound like you too. Most people just think about 2 things. They think about, number 1, the ROI. What's the return on investment? When this item sells, is it going to make me a profit? Obviously, we don't want to waste our money, our capital, on items that aren't going to make us a profit. That happens from time to time, but most of the time we want to make a profit. And number two, what's the sales rank? You know, a lot of people have been told the sales rank is very important, and it is, but so there's a lot of miscommunication and misunderstandings about sales rank. I'm going to kind of clear a little bit about that up in just a moment. But people look at the sales rank and think, well, if a sales rank is a certain number, that means it's going to sell quickly. And they usually only think of these two things when they're out sourcing. They will be looking at their, they'll be looking at either Amazon Seller app or the Scoutify or Profit Bandit or ScamPower, all these different types of apps that give you the current sales rank and the current competitors' pricing to kind of give you an idea of what you could possibly sell this item for. But most people just think about these two things, and I just want to encourage you that I think there are 6 things that really you need to be thinking about besides these to make the best inventory decision, to make a smart sourcing decision. And a couple of them are just mental. They're not even the step you actually have to do. They're just a few mental steps on top of actual actionable steps. And the first one is this. Number 1, realize how often things change on Amazon. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, think about this. I read on a blog post and a couple articles that Amazon reprices their products over 2.5 million times a day. Now, sure, they've got tons of products, but they reprice them. They've got an algorithm that, of course, they don't share with anybody. They're changing prices all the time, 2.5 million times a day. And to give you a little perspective, a website like Walmart will change the prices on their website for their items about 20,000 times a month. So Amazon's doing it 2.5 million times a day. Prices are going up and down all the time for so many different products. Things are changing. Also, third-party sellers, that's you and me, reprice their products all the time. Some people use repricers, automatic repricers. Some of them go in and manually reprice. And of course, when an item sells, the current lowest price changes. And then another thing that changes is sales ranks are updated once an hour. Amazon, once every hour, goes in and recalculates the sales rank of a particular item. So sales ranks are changing 24 times a day. And so when you're thinking about this, that the prices are changing so many times, the sales ranks are changing all the time. But what do most people do? Most people make their sourcing decision based on one point in time. Here's a screenshot of 3 different sourcing apps. On the left is the Amazon Seller app. In the middle is Scoutify, that is the app that Inventory Lab provides. And then the one on the right is Profit Bandit. And they'll all give you the current sales rank, and they'll tell you the current low price and some competitors. And most people just make their sourcing decision based on this one point in time. When you're in the retail store and you're scanning it, or if you're at your computer doing online arbitrage and you're researching the information. But if prices and sales rank change so much, why are we making our decision based on one snapshot in time? That's something that needs to change for us to be able to remain successful and find growth in our Amazon business. So number 1, realize how often things change on Amazon. And number 2, understand that you need more information than a single snapshot in time to make a profitable sourcing decision. A lot of people like the idea of just scanning an item, looking at one screen, and then making a decision and going on with it. But so many times, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, I know I have, we make a buying decision and we send the items to Amazon if you're doing FBA, and by the time the item goes live or by the time you're wanting to sell it, the prices have either tanked, the sales rank is now horrible, and you're like, what went wrong? Everything looked great when I made the purchase. Why is it all different now? Well, it's because prices are changing all the time. Sales ranks are changing all the time, and we need to understand that. We need more information. If we only took maybe 20 seconds more on some of the items that we sourced, we would be able to make much better decisions. And that's where Camel, Camel, Camel and Keepa come in. So number 3 is to look at Camel, Camel, Camel. So even if you look at the logo of Camel, 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 you can see how the lines go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and that is a little bit about what a camel graph does. Camel is a free website service that provides both the sales rank and pricing history of almost every item on Amazon. It doesn't have everything, but it's got most of them. They've been around at least as far back as 2008 and have been tracking some items as far back as that. And so, but you see, I've got a little connection. I've got an insider. I've got somebody who's really helped me understand Camel, who's on the inside, and that's this guy right here. This guy, I had a chance to take a Camel selfie. He's awesome. He told me all of his secrets. I said, dude, tell me all about Camel, how to understand it. And he started to tell me. And then, or actually, I think he started thinking my beard was more straw or hay to chew on. So be careful. Be careful with that. But he told me all of his secrets, so I want to share some of those secrets with you right now. So let me bring up my. All right. So now we're looking here at camelcamelcamel.com. And if you're looking at Camel, you can see that, that you can enter the Amazon URL or keywords to find certain products. Now, most sourcing apps like Scatify or Profit Bandit will have a quick link for you to see Camel. The Amazon seller does not. That's why I don't usually use the Amazon seller app as a sourcing app, because I always want to look at Camel. There's also other ways that you can access Camel, but I always do it on my smartphone when I'm sourcing, or using browser extensions, which we'll talk about in just a minute when I'm doing online arbitrage.
I put a link to that in the chat box as well. Great,
that's awesome. The cool thing about Camel is that you can choose which area you want to go to. So Camel does not just have the information from Amazon.com, but it has Amazon.ca. It's got the France, Germany, UK, all over. You can choose which Amazon platform you want to get your information from, to be able to find information about the past history of a certain item. And the reason why you want to look at the sales history, the price history, is because you can use that information to basically predict the future. And so I'm going to look up an item right now, if I can spell it right. So we'll look at the Seinfeld Scene It board game. A lot of you know I like board games. I also have another book about board games. And all right, this is not one to find it. Let me just punch in the ASIN instead. So B. Okay, so here's the Seinfeld Scene It board game. And as you scroll down, you will see this graph. And when you're looking at Camel, let me show you the quick and easy way to understand it. On the left side of the screen, you've got the price from $0 to $40, and depending on the item you look at, the price might go up from $0 to $200. But on this one, all we need to see is between the $0 and $40. On the bottom of the screen, you can see the dates. And underneath the dates, you can see the years. So you can see that Camel has been tracking this item since August 13th of 2008, and that's awesome. On the right side, you can see the lowest ever price for this item. Boy, wouldn't you like to have been there when you can buy this for 48 cents? And the highest price that this item has ever been offered. It would be the highest low price, $39.95, and then the current price, $13.93. Now, when Camel goes to Amazon and gets the pricing information, they grab the lowest current price. And they grab the lowest current price from Amazon, the lowest current price from new, and the lowest third-party used price. And so when you see all this information on this graph, it can kind of be confusing, but that's why there's these awesome little buttons here where you can turn off different ones and just get the information that you're wanting to look at. So you can also change the date range. Right now it's got the lifetime, but you can look at the last year, the pricing for the last 6 months, the last 3 months, and the last month, and see how the prices have changed over time. There's certain items I like to look at the last 3 months. Some of them I like to look at the last year. And of course, you can see what happened once December and November came. The prices started going up. So you can see Q4 in action right here. Most of the year, the prices are around the $10 to $12 range. But once Q4 comes, the prices go up. And then after Q4, the prices come back down. And now the price that you're seeing is the current low price, not including shipping. So this price right here, $13.93, is the current low price. It could mean $13.93 FBA with free shipping, as long as there are merchant fulfilled offers that are much lower than that, or it could mean $13.93 plus, $5.99 shipping by merchant fulfilled. Most of the time, when you see the price on a graph, it's the merchant fulfilled price, so you can almost assume shipping is on top of that, so you might be able to get another $4, $5, $6, whatever the shipping would be. So, but you can look at, again, the third-party new, third-party used, and see what the history of the items are just by looking around. Now, you'll see this. Sometimes you'll see a solid line. Sometimes you'll see a dashed or dotted line. The solid line is when Amazon's in stock, and the dotted line is when Amazon has been out of stock. And this is important to know if you're wanting to decide if you're wanting to compete against Amazon, and you can see how often they go in and out. It looks like Amazon hasn't been in stock this item since, looks like maybe September of 2015, maybe. But that's important to know, and it's the same thing with used prices. If you want to look at the used prices, anytime that there's a dotted line, it means they're out of stock. Someone asked earlier about the flat line. So a flat line on the price graph means that there has been no change in that price. We'll talk about in a minute about what a flat line means for a sales rank, but let's go ahead and take a look at sales rank. So here's the sales rank for the last year of this Seinfeld Seen It board game. And you can see the lines go up and down. It looks like sort of a lie detector test where someone's lying all the time. This is kind of going off the charts, or it looks like a crazy heartbeat monitor that's kind of going crazy. But that's not what it is. This is showing sales. Anytime the sales rank number goes from a higher number to a lower number, signifies at least one sale. We'll come back to about that more in a minute. So while you're looking at this, you can see that every time the line went up, it was a sale. And again, you can see November, December, this is Q4. The items sold so often that they stayed closer to the #1 rank. And so it goes to show you that this item, we saw earlier, the price history, it can be sold for more profits in November and December, and of course it sells faster in November and December. That's a nice little perfect storm. But and so this is really good information, because say you're sourcing the item and you're thinking, say it's September and you're sourcing and you look at the snapshot in time and you see like, oh, it's selling for $10 and I can buy it for $6. That's really not much profit. I'll wait on that, and you just pass on it, not realizing if you could buy it for $6, you could probably wait a month or so and be able to get $32 for it. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't look at the last year. And if you look at the lifetime, the numbers go up and down. This is Q4. This is a Q4. This is another Q4. Another Q4. Every year in Q4, the price seems to just get higher, because this item is an older item. It's a little bit more rare, and so you're able to get more for it. So I expect that Q4 next year we'll be able to get even more ROI out of that item. So
I think
a lot of
sometimes
stuff
board games make really good Christmas gifts and different types of holiday
yes.
gifts that all happen in the fourth quarter too, don't they?
Absolutely, especially with how specific some of these board games are. The first Seen It game, when it first came out, it did okay, but when they started doing specific board games based on TV shows or movies or character franchises, it's really helped to make a lot of good sales for board games, and yeah, great Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So this is a quick little understanding of the sales rank graph. On the left, you see the sales rank. It goes from the highest number down to the lowest number, and then of course the dates along the side. And again, the lowest sales rank from the time period chosen, the highest sales rank from the time period chosen, and the current sales rank. And once again, you can change to look at the last 6 months, the last 3 months, or the last year, or the last 1 month of that item. So that's a quick, basic introduction to Camel, 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 and so there's so much more that I want to share with you. Of course, that's why there's a course, How to Keep a Camel, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But so that's number 3, looking at Camel, 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 to look at the past and the history of the sales rank and the history of the prices so that you can make your best pricing decision and the best sourcing decision. I mean, it really helps you know so much, just gives you a more well-rounded decision to be able to make. So that's number 3. Number 4, you probably could, predict this, but look at Keepa.com. Now, I don't have any pictures of me doing a selfie with a Keepa because I don't know what a Keepa is, but but let's take a look now at how we can understand Keepa. Let's see. All right, everybody still with me? You looking at my Keepa screen? Can you see that on your end too?
Yep, I got it, and I put a link to it in the chat box with the other links.
Excellent. So you're looking at Keepa.com, and the same thing that you can do with Camel, you can do with Keepa. You can choose which area in the world you want to find the information from. So let's take a look at a product on Keepa, Paw Patrol Patroller Plane. So we're going to look at this item here, and you can see, let's see, let me close this right now. You can see the information looks a little bit similar to Camel, but it also looks a little bit different. Camel, Camel, Camel places the price graph and the sales rank graph on 2 different graphs, so it kind of brings a little bit more clarity. Keepa, on the other hand, will throw everything on one graph, and so it's a different people like different resources, whether it's Camel, 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 or Keepa. I like Keepa for certain things and Camel for other things, and I like using them both interchangeably. I also like the fact that I can go look at one of them and then go look at the other for like almost a second opinion. But Keepa also goes in many times a day to grab the information, the lowest sales rank of the Amazon, the lowest sales rank for the third-party new, third-party used, and the current sales rank, and gives you all of that information. Now let's clean this up a little bit so get a little clarity of what we're looking at.
While you're cleaning some things up over there, let me jump back to Camel just a second. Somebody wanted to know if you were using the free version of Camel.
There is no paid version of
That's
Camel.
What I thought, but when she asked that, I wanted to be sure.
Right, yeah. It's free. It does require you to create an account, but it's a free account if you're wanting to look at sales rank. You can look at price information all day long, but it does require an account to view the sales rank. But the account is free, and I really encourage people to sign up for a free account with Camel because there's other things that you can use Camel for to really help you make smarter sourcing decisions, and I go more into detail of that in the course. But yeah, there's no charge for Camel. Don't tell Camel this, but if they ever did decide to charge and stopped making it free, I would pay for it. I think it's that important for both Camel, and Keepa, but don't tell them that, please. So it's free right now. So now we're looking at Keepa, and you can see, again, it's very similar. On the left side of the screen, you've got the price. On the bottom of the screen, you've got the dates, and it kind of gives you an idea. The cool thing about Keepa that's different is that when you hover over the cursor over the screen, it shows you the information while you're looking at it. So you can see the prices, so you don't have to kind of just guess and kind of draw an imaginary line and try to guess what it was. It tells you what it was. Now, the thing I love about Keepa, that, Camel, when Amazon's out of stock, shows a dashed line. Well, Keepa shows this differently. When Amazon's in stock, they will have this shaded area, this orange shaded area and give Amazon this orange line for its pricing. But when there's a white spot, it means that Amazon is out of stock. So these times when there's white, it shows you that Amazon's out of stock. And it really helps you to know, because a lot of times people like to avoid competing with Amazon. But how many of you have ever sourced an item and you're like, oh, Amazon's not in stock, it's got a good sales rank and a good price, I'm going to buy it. But then by the time you send it to Amazon or you get it listed live on Amazon, Amazon's back in stock and you're like, I'm just going to have to wait forever now. Well, now you can go back and use Keepa to be able to see that Amazon is in or out of stock of this, and you can see, oh, well, Amazon's just out of stock right now, but they probably will come back soon, and if you don't like competing with Amazon, then you can choose not to. So it's real eye-opener if people don't want to put their money into, or their capital into items that Amazon's going to end up competing with them on. So you can also look at the third-party marketplace new prices, and the same thing does with you hover over the line on the screen. It gives you that information. This is the third-party marketplace used. Now again, when there's a space, that means that there is no used offer. But when there is a used offer, then you can see even these little tiny dots. You can kind of see what the prices are for those items. And then we can look at sales rank. And again, you can look at sales rank, and anytime the number gets closer to 0, it means a sale. Now, there's no pricing information over here, like the pricing graph, because of course we're just looking at sales rank. And on the bottom of the screen, it's the dates. And then over here is the sales rank numbers. Now, Camel, 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 and Keepa both show the same information, but they just show it in a different way. Keepa likes to have 0 at the bottom, where Camel likes to have 0 at the top. And so if you're looking for some consistency and it just drives you crazy, you want them to both show the same thing, you can actually click this little link here and flip it. So that now it looks more like a camel graph, where every time there's a line that goes straight up, it signifies at least one sale. So you can do that, and then of course look at all of the different information at the same time. You can do that, and just like on Camel, you can change and look at the last 3 months, the last 1 month. Keepa allows you to show you the last week or the last day, or the last 6 months or the last year or lifetime. This item has not been around for more than 125 days, or at least Keepa has not been tracking it for more than 125 days, so it just has that. But if it had been around for 6 months or a year, you could have that as an option to choose from. So that's just a basic understanding of what a Keepa graph looks like and how you can look at that information to kind of see what happens when people are priced at a certain price, how sales rank reacts to that. And then I just love that you can put your cursor over and get a snapshot of what all the current prices are and sales rank are at any one point in time. I love that, and it really helps me make much smarter sourcing decisions. All right,
Michael
so that's number 4.
Michael is asking a question about Camel. Does Camel include Amazon and FBA sellers, or just Amazon? Stephen was showing a little bit ago that, now correct me if I'm wrong, you can click to see Amazon, you can click to see third-party sellers, which would be FBA and merchant fulfilled, and you can click to see third-party sellers with used items, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, yep. They'll be on Camel graphs. They show 3 different pricing lines: Amazon as a seller, and then FBA or merchant fulfilled new, and then FBA or merchant fulfilled used.
Yep, they're grouping those, Michael, into third-party sellers.
Yes.
Both of those into the category of third-party sellers. That's where you would find the FBA and the merchant fulfilled information. They're not pulling out FBA by itself. So it's right. That would be all third-party, merchant fulfilled and FBA together.
Right, but when you're looking at a graph either on Camel or Keepa and you see a price, I would say about 95% of the time the price that you're seeing is the low merchant fulfilled price. So you can mentally add $4 or $5, $6, depending on however much shipping would be, to be able to do the FBA pricing. And if you wanted to do even more research, you can go to the current sales page and kind of see how much higher the FBA prices are being priced at compared to merchant fulfilled, so you can get a better idea to price those items. So good question. Okay, so that's number 4, looking at Keepa. Number 5, and this is one thing that I love to do, counting the past sales to predict future sales. And here's how I do that. I like to do that on Camel. So let's jump back again to Camel, Camel, Camel. And here's our Seinfeld CNET board game. I'll look at the last month. And again, like I've said before, anytime the sales rank goes from a higher number to a lower number, see right here it's going from about 100,000 to about 67,000. Anytime it goes from a higher number to a lower number, that counts as at least one sale. And I say at least one sale because sometimes if the number jumps much higher than usual, it could mean 2 sales or 3 sales. And if you're actually looking at an item that's in the top 1% of its, if the sales rank of an item is in the top 1% of its category, then it could mean, 10 sales, 20 sales, 100 sales, the closer you get to number 1. But overall, if you're looking at an item that's not in the top 1% of its sales rank, it's 1 sale. So I'm going to count the sales here because every time the number goes from a higher number to a lower number, it's a sale. So I'm going to say this is 1 sale, 2 sales, 3 sales. Now this is a much bigger jump. I would say 4, 5, 6 sales, 7, 8 sales, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I would say in the last month, and how convenient is that, there has been 31 sales of this board game in the last month. So you could use that information and guess with fairly good accuracy. It's not 100% accurate, but you can probably guess this item is going to sell about once a day. And so when you're looking for an item, this helps you know how deep to go on an item. You can look at the number of other competitors that are also selling this item, and you can see this is going to sell once a day. I'm going to price this, to get the buy box, and I can expect, if I'm looking at a shelf and there's 40 of an item, if an item sells once a day and there aren't too many competitors listed against me, I might buy them all. And so this really helps you know if I'm going to put my capital into, just 3 of these items or 10 or 20. This helps you when you're sourcing wholesale and you're needing to buy bulk purchases, or if you're doing online arbitrage and you could purchase more than just one. I know a lot of times with retail arbitrage, sometimes we're limited to just 1 or 2 in a clearance aisle, or we're limited to 5 or 6 on a regular retail priced aisle. But when you're doing online arbitrage, you can purchase possibly even more. And this helps you counting the sales to be able to better predict the future. And this has really revolutionized my Amazon business because I'm able to put money into items that I know are going to sell because it's just going to continue to sell. And then you can look at the price history for the last month and see that for fairly most of the time it's been priced around $14 for the last month. And so if I was able to get these for $2 or $3 a piece, I'd probably buy them all if I expected that price to continue. And so you can kind of go back and forth between sales rank and price history to be able to count the sales in order to be able to predict the future. And it's just been really awesome, and it doesn't take very much time. And the more you do it, the faster you become at it. You can start looking at a sales rank chart and be like, I can just glance at one now and most of the time be able to fairly accurately guess, but that's because I've been doing it so long. The more you're able to do this and put this into practice, the better you're going to be able to make smart sourcing decisions. So that's number 5. Number 6 is going to be consider your competition, because you're not in this alone. You have other people who are going to be selling this item too. So I'm going to go back to Keepa, And I'll show you a few little things about Keepa that are pretty awesome when it comes to considering your competition. There's a little link here called More Historical Data that most people don't even know about. If you click on it, it opens a whole other graph, and it gives you the both new and used offer counts at any particular point in time. So you can see that back in March, there was only 24 new offers and 1 used offer. But fast forward to April 15th, there were 65 new offers and 5 used offers. And so this kind of gives you a good idea of the other competitive sellers who are competing against you. So you can, this is almost like supply and demand. You can see the supply goes up, and a lot of times when supply goes up, the demand goes down and the sales rank goes up. So you can use this information to see how many how much your competition is offering. Now, obviously, this does not show you the quantity of every one of your competitors, but it does show you the number of offers that are available. So you're considering your competition. Another thing when you're considering your competition is Amazon in and out of stock. Look at what happens to marketplace new prices when Amazon goes out of stock. When Amazon goes out of stock, third-party marketplace new prices, they go up because they realize Amazon is not there. They're not going to share the buy box. We're going to ask for more for this, and you're able to get more than what Amazon, because most of the time when Amazon is priced at something, and you can see this as a perfect example, Amazon on May 2nd, Amazon was priced at $29.88. What do marketplace new sellers do? They price it pennies underneath Amazon to try to get the sale. But when Amazon's not in the picture anymore, boom, $39.99 please, and you're able to get more. So you're considering your competition when Amazon's going in or out of stock and how to price those items to be able to get more for the items that you're asking for. So, one more tip about this. Hold on. Excuse me.
You gotta hate when that happens. While Stephen is composing himself. Been there, done that, I understand. Get yourself a sip of water.
Yes.
Then I will look over here in the question box. One thing that Stephen is asking is to compare the sales rank to when Amazon went out of stock. If you would glow over that one more time very quickly just to show so that he can see that again and everybody else can too. It's really, really interesting to me to watch all the upswings and downswings that go on, and just like Stephen was saying with supply and demand, you can see how these charts mingle and merge with one another, because when supply is high, then prices fall because Amazon's marketplace is flooded. When supply is very scarce, then the price begins to climb again because they're harder to find. You doing okay? I hate when that happens. I have been in the middle of a webinar and had a coughing fit, and that's no fun at all. Something else to keep in mind when you're looking at this data is that Keepa also has, I believe it's a Chrome extension. I'm not sure if it works with other browsers or not. And this will actually load in every Amazon product page that you visit, so you can see these charts inside an Amazon page. You can certainly look at it on the website, on Keepa's website if you want to, but it's simple when you go to Amazon directly, especially if you're trying to get more detailed information, or you want to see, is the page well written? How serious are these competitors? Is there some work that I could do on the page to improve the title or what have you? Then having this Keepa extension load right inside of Chrome is really handy. Charles is saying he uses that uh, extension as well. Yep, and Steven's clicking over here. It looks like he's got that loaded. Yep, scrolling down. There it is right there. So right inside every Amazon product detail page is where this would show up once you enable it in Chrome. I've forgotten where I got mine. I imagine you can get it from the Keepa.com website, and you can see all of the stuff that's right there. The same information that Stephen was showing you on the Keepa.com website loads right on the Amazon page, so it's very convenient to use. So when you're going through all of this and you're looking at your data, you can get a really great picture and use this information for pricing and sales rank, and then scroll up and take a look at how the listing is done. If the title stinks, if it's got 2-word bullet points, you know, if it has virtually no description or a very poorly written description, then you can also look to improve those elements, as well as maybe doing some back-end keyword research to boost the performance of the page itself. So when you combine all of that together, you really can focus on implementing strategies that will boost your profitability. I've even seen these types of pages turn around, people that are trying to get rid of products that did a little extra keyword research and went in and edited the product and added new keywords, and Amazon accepted those search terms. They don't have to, but when Amazon accepts them, that actually can boost the ranking and the sales for a product that you're trying to get rid of as well. It doesn't work every single time, depends on the product, of course, but it can be a big boost to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the Keepa extension works for the Google Chrome, it works for Firefox, and they just got Apple to approve the extension for Safari. So the Keepa extension works for that. There's a Camel extension too called the Camelizer, and they just put a little button up here in the, yeah, Camelizer, that's cute, right? A little button up here where it brings up the information, and you can look at it right up here in your screen. It doesn't put it in, but you can actually gain access for that.
Good deal.
Someone was talking about earlier about what happens to sales rank when Amazon's out of stock, the prices go up. As you can see, the sales rank begins to get worse. Now, this item is in the top 1,000 of toys, so this is still selling plenty. But you can see that the sales are less when Amazon goes out of stock and the prices go up. And it's just fascinating to see what happens. Amazon's mostly out of stock for about almost a month, and the sales rank, it goes up to 1,100, which again, oh, it's horrible. No, it's not. It's really great. It's one of the best. But again, you can compare all that information and make a really good sourcing decision and save yourself from a bad one. It's something that's really awesome. And one more little thing that you can look at, the statistic thing link right here, you can look over that and it will tell you the lowest sales rank, current sales rank, highest, and the average sales rank for the past 3 months. So this is a really good when you're trying to get a good idea, because just because an item is a certain sales rank today doesn't mean it's going to average that. Like here's the sales rank of the Seinfeld Scene It, and a lot of people at 136,537 would pass on this item when they're sourcing it because they're like, oh, it's not that great of a sales rank. But then when it's ranked at 30,081 in toys, they're going to clear the shelf and buy all of them. But it's the same item, and so you can take a look and be like, oh, this is probably averaging around 75,000. That's in my comfort zone. I'll buy this item because it's averaging around 75,000 in toys. And so a lot of good stuff to think about when it comes to your Amazon business, when it comes to sourcing and making really good sourcing decisions. And before we get into some more questions, I do want to tell you that I put the course together about Camel, about Keepa, and you can find it at marketingwords.com/Keepa Camel. The course is a combination ebook and video course. The book is over 130 pages, full color ebook, and has all the exact same content and information as the video course. So if you're thinking, I'm more of a book reader, I'd rather look at pictures, then the book is for you. And if you're more like, I want video, I like seeing this walkthrough with the cursor on the screen and showing me, well, then you've got the video content too. So you've got over 4 hours of video content walking you through both the basic and advanced strategies for both Camel, 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 and Keepa. We talk about buying inventory where the price doesn't tank all the time. We talk about how sales ranks can be deceptive and what to do about it. We go in depth into seasonal sourcing, seasonal pricing, so you can get the most ROI from your items. We teach you how to exactly know what is the best price to sell your items for, and we go more in depth about when to compete against Amazon and when, and how deep to go on inventory purchases. We talk about just a lot more advanced strategies once you get the basics down, how to use Camel, 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 and Keepa with advanced things, how to be the first to know about possible Amazon flips, and also how to deal with a sales rank of 0. There's times when I'm outsourcing, there'll be a sales rank, it'll say NA, not available, but I still buy it because I know other things to look at when you have a sales rank of 0. Don't let a 0 sales rank make you assume that means it's never sold. Sometimes it's just not given from Amazon for some reason. And then we talk about, and this is my favorite part of the book and the course, is at the very end when I talk about some key mindset shifts that you need to make to be able to find success sourcing this way. Because as you can probably tell, this is a lot of information that Camel, 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 and Keepa are giving you to make a smart sourcing decision. And sometimes too much information can cause analysis paralysis, where you don't end up making any decision because there's just too much information to sort. Well, I help walk you through in the course how to be able to process all of this, how to be able to know when items are a buy, when it's a pass, and to get you comfortable with knowing what pieces of information you should be looking at certain times. And then also, some people might be thinking, man, I just like going into a store, looking at one screen and making my buying decision. And so there's a mindset shift when it comes to taking about 20 seconds extra looking at Camel, 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 or Keepa to make a much better buying decision. And so that sometimes can be a roadblock to, because most people are used to just looking at one point in time, making their decision. But what happens when you do that? The sales rank tanks, the prices tank, and you have items just sitting at Amazon warehouses that are not selling, just getting dusty, and you have to end up lowering your prices or creating removal orders or destroying them and having to deal with that mess. And you're like, I didn't even make any, I actually lost money on some items because I didn't look at Camel or Keepa. Now, do I look at Camel or Keepa at every item I'm sourcing? No, I don't. If it's something is in the top 1% or top 2% of a certain sales rank, then I'll pass on that. But almost everything else, I'll take an extra 20 seconds looking at Camel or Keepa, and I can make a pretty good guess about what's going to happen in the future based on the past. And so I help walk you through dealing with that mindset shift. And so if you check out marketingwords.com/Keepa Camel and use the coupon code Karen10, be sure you spell Karen right. I'm sure she hates that people spell her name wrong all the time.
No, but it really ticks my mother off.
Yeah. It's the same thing for me. My name is Steven, spelled with a PH, and most of the people search Steven. And
yeah,
so,
exactly. Exactly. Now, let me make a point here, something that Steven told me. This is the last day of his product launch for the Keepa Camel brand new product. So tonight, the book is, well, the product, it's a book and video series. So the product is already on sale for what? It was 97, it's 87?
Right, the regular price is 97, and today's the last day you can get it for 87.
And then you're getting a coupon code for $10 additional off because you are listening to this webinar live, or I guess the people that are listening to the webinar, the replay of the webinar, if it's still May 11th, they could use this coupon code until midnight as well to get another $10 off. So instead of $97, it's $77. That goes away today at
Right.
midnight with no exceptions.
Right.
And tomorrow, you're not only losing the $10 coupon code, you're losing Stephen's original $10 discount. So instead of paying $77 today, tomorrow you'll pay $97. So pay attention to that as well, so that you understand what the value of this is. There are some people that have Michael, we got lots and lots of Michaels on here today. Michael wants to know, does this work for private label?
It does work for private label if you're able to find a like product and you can search their history of sales. And because I know a lot of private labels, you're finding a product that's already selling on Amazon and you just switch the label on it. So if you're doing that, you can do a pretty decent job. But of course, you obviously want to make sure that you have the right keywords and pictures and other things, because even if you look at someone else's product page and sell the same item, if you don't have as good of pictures or keywords, then you're not going to get the sales, and it's not going to be any kind of guarantee. But it does give you a decent idea of how other people's private label items are selling. And if you're bringing something completely new to Amazon that no one else is doing, then you can try to look at maybe some people who are offering things that are similar related items. So it does work for private label. I just need to kind of dig a little bit deeper with the information that you're gathering.
Okay. Sandy wants to know, is this teaching keywords? Sandy, this course is about using Keepa, the tools Keepa and Camel, Camel, Camel to source more profitable products. This is not about creating product listing pages or anything like that. I have a product that teaches you how to do that. And I'll put a link to it in the chat box in case you or anybody else is interested in that. But Stephen's product is about sourcing Amazon inventory and doing it more effectively. We had a couple more questions about what you were covering earlier. Lisa's saying, did he answer my question about the flat line for sales rank? Yeah, I think you did, but can you briefly say it
Sure.
one more time?
Yeah, if there's a flat line for sales rank, one of the things that that Camel does is that it has to. I didn't go much into detail, so I'll go more into detail now about that. One of the things that it does is it's not able. Let me start a finish and finally finish it.
Glad I'm not the only one that does that.
My mind is going a million miles an hour right now. So Camel, the way Camel makes money providing the service, because it's a free service, is it's actually a service for buyers, for price-savvy buyers, people who want to save money buying items. They look at Camel and they can see, oh, this item's about to be cheaper because it usually goes down in price around this time of year. I'll just wait it out. And then there's pricing alerts that Camel gives you when a price will go down. So a lot of times Camel will realize there are certain items that people aren't looking at. They're not looking at that information. And so if it's been longer than 30 days for a particular item that no one's searching for that information, they will stop or pause gathering information. And so if you ever see a straight line when it comes to sales rank, Camel has just paused gathering that information to save on bandwidth, to save on server space, because they're just not able to have unlimited amount of data that they're able to store. But once somebody comes back in and seeks information about that particular product, they will start gathering that information again. So that's why if you see a straight line on sales rank, it just means they've paused gathering information for that product because no one else has been looking at it for over 30 days.
Okay, and then Stephen has a question. What is the sales rank doing when the graph goes sideways?
I guess that's the exact same. That's the exact same thing. It's a flat line. So
Yeah.
if the sales rank is a flat line, it's the same thing.
Okay. Good, good, good. All right, let me scroll here. Is there much more information in the course that has not been spoken of in the webinar? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have this course. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've given you about 30, 40 minutes or so of teaching, and there's over 4 hours, almost 4.5 hours of video content in the course. So we're just now scratching the surface of what is possible with using Camel, 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 and Keepa, and I have a lot of fun teaching you more stuff about it.
Awesome. Let's see if we've got, let me scroll down, see if there's any other questions here. I think we got them all. If your question was not answered, or if you just thought of a question, go ahead and type it in quickly, and we will get that answered before we wrap up, because it's the top of the hour, so we do want to be respectful of your time. Charles is asking, are they sent to us, or is it downloadable from the site? These are electronic products. Is that what you're asking? You would download the ebook and watch the videos online. It's not something that comes through the mail. Is that what you're asking, Charles? Okay, good. So he's
Right.
good then. Awesome. Well, Stephen, I really appreciate it. I love that we were able to catch you on the last day of the launch. I'm sorry that we couldn't get you here sooner, but gee, thanks for the extra discount. That's very cool. Everybody else is getting just the $10 discount, which takes it down to $87, but we're getting $10 more. So you guys today only would get it for $77 instead of for $97, excuse me. I put links in the chat box and the coupon code in the chat box, KARON, the number 10, no spaces, will get you that additional private coupon code for the extra $10 off. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to us, Stephen. It's very enlightening. I know that making profits and avoiding the trap and the pitfall of looking at your inventory screen and going, you know, what am I going to do now? Somebody else has come on now instead of, 20 competitors at a price that I could make a profit. All of a sudden there's 57 and they're selling it for less than I paid for it. So this is a big step in avoiding all of that. So I'm really excited about this, and I think people are going to learn a lot and be able to seriously improve what they make on their Amazon sales. There's a question. Oh, there's thank yous and comments. I bought it. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We really do appreciate it. Yes, there's always a recording. Whenever I do a webinar, there's a recording. So it'll go out as, I don't know exactly when, as soon as we get it ready. You have to edit these and format them and put them up online and blah, blah, blah. So as soon as all of that is done, it will be emailed out. Really appreciate you guys being here with us today. Stephen, you're awesome, and I applaud you and give you congratulations on another well-done product.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
I
so much.
had a lot of fun.
Great. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you next time, and have a good week.